The Kate Daly Show.
Tell through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Yep, when it comes to weird music, I'm your queen of weird music. That's Tiny Tim. Welcome back, Kate Daly Show. That's about how the world feels right now. We're trying to gravitate toward that right level of happiness, but it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. Welcome back. Of course, I have Susan Reeve with me to indulge all of this strange music with me, and of course, there's all kinds of hints at things to come. And what's the biggest one that you're finding, Susan, come election time?
Yeah, there's a few of them that CISA, who's in charge of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency, who's in charge of securing our elections, and we know how well they did, and the FBI came out and said, we're expecting potential cyber attacks during the election. And they said, but it will not affect the security or the integrity of the actual election. That is their wording. It's coming, but don't worry, it won't actually affect the election or the election integrity.
Wow. Okay. So just 2 points. So they have a crystal ball and know that a cyber attack is coming. They also have another crystal ball that says that it'll affect everything else except voting. I'm just trying to make sure I got this right.
Yeah. It's actually coming during voting an election, but it won't affect it.
Wow, they already know a cyber attack's going to happen in just over 3 months. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And so actually people in the Republican Party are saying, vote early, get your mail-in ballot, take it down, hand deliver it early. Do not think you're going to vote on election day. And
that's a tactic.
Be guaranteed to vote.
So
yes,
both sides, we have to say, both sides are very, very corrupt. And the reason I know this for a fact, one of the reasons, is that both parties, Republican and Democrat, were completely 100% in on the mail-in balloting thing. And I was even told by a local state senator who's super creepy and super corrupt. And he reached over and he said, Kate, we'll get more votes this way. And I was like, you what? We'll get more votes this way? We'll get illegal votes this way. That's what happens with mail-in. So they're actually pushing people to do the mail-in because of the crystal ball that tells them we're going to have a cyber attack, right? So if it wasn't going to affect voting, why would they be telling people to do early voting? See? So they want a majority of people to think it's going to happen so that they do the mail-in voting, like that creepy state senator that's still in office down here in the corner of my state. He's so ultra creepy that he was almost drooling over the fact that he was so supportive of mail-in. You know why? Because mail-in hides the fraud when they get in. So the race is secure for them. They know it. And so they promote mail-in voting consistently because it works for them because they know they're part of the club and they're going to get in. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other side of that, though, is if things go down, they say it won't affect the election. But last time in Arizona, you had all these printers not working, running out of ink, that print the ballots, and the machines going down, and super long lines, like 3 and 4 hours, because so many of the machines weren't working, yet they'd been tested the day before and worked. And then, so they're saying, don't just only rely. And so maybe some people can take their ballot on voting day if it's still an option, and then you have a choice of depositing your mail-in ballot. But things are heating up too. They've really learned. They're almost like the predators in Jurassic Park. Remember how they said they were testing the fence and learning about where the vulnerabilities are? So this one woman in Michigan posted a comment on Facebook about where she thought the polling place was. And she got a letter from the Attorney General of Michigan threatening her with prosecution for misleading election information. She got a letter that said cease and desist. And this is the same by the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, who urged residents to report their neighbors for so-called election misinformation. Report your neighbors. Now, Waltz actually had a system of saying, report your neighbors if they're gathering during COVID.
Yeah.
Here's the reporting hotline, right?
He was a Hitler.
So this is a classic, fascist, extremist move. Report your neighbors. 100%. And so she got reported.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just so horrendous.
We're gonna
and then they have other things planned too.
Okay, we're going to come back and talk about those. Lots of censorship, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Wall's a little Hitler, little COVID Hitler. Be right back on the Kate Daly Show, katedallyradio.com.